What up, Philly Goes to College? This is a special jingle for you and all the students you are supporting. Check it out. Philly goes to college, gotta get knowledge. No matter where you come from, you are someone. Plan, apply, and pay to help you out. Philly goes to college, helping you without a doubt. Ooh.
We are here at South by Southwest EDU with Roy Moy. Roy, can you introduce yourself and what you do?
Sure thing. My name is Roy Moy III, and I am the founder and CEO of STEM Music, LLC, a company with the mission to inspire the next generation of multicultural STEM professionals, so science, technology, engineering, and math professionals, through engaging and entertaining music. And here at South by Southwest, I got to do a really cool session, performance/keynote, where I performed about 5 songs, but also told my story of how I got into STEM and why I decided to create STEM music.
And so you transitioned from working as an aerospace engineer
Yes.
to founding STEM music. I think something students feel a lot is that once they graduate from college, that first job is their job for life. And something that has definitely rung true from everyone we've talked here is that that is so not the case. So can you talk a little bit about, maybe any sort of lessons learned about career pivots?
Absolutely. First of all, I think in general in life, be ready to pivot. That's the number one thing, because life has a way of just throwing different things at you, making you, have to experience things that maybe you were ready for, you weren't ready for. And so if you're able and you have the ability to pivot, you're going to be that much better moving forward in life. So that's one. Career-wise, I would say, absolutely. If you are going to school for a certain degree, you want to try to pick something that you're interested in, that you have a passion for, but know that that is not the thing that you have to stay in forever. Once again, it goes back to the pivot. So you start working in an industry, you start enjoying what it is that you're doing, but maybe you get to a place where you get stuck, or you get stagnant, or you want a change. I think the best piece of advice I can give to students and professionals out there is, if you feel that thing in your gut that's saying it's time to do something different, listen to it. Find your mentors, people who can help see the forest from the trees when you're just like stuck in everything, and they can kind of lead you and guide you. My story was being an aerospace engineer, designing structural parts for airplanes, and I'm so proud I got to do that work. That's what I wanted to do since I was a kid. I love airplanes. I'm obsessed with airplanes. And I got to a point where I said, okay, this isn't fulfilling me the way I thought it was going to fulfill me for the duration of time. So what could I be doing differently? And part of that was music, wanting to, I jumped into industry, working as an engineer, but I also released my R&B EP at the very same time, summer of 2015. And I was like, wait a minute, I actually think I want to do this for a living. And so pursuing both at the same time, that's another thing I tell young professionals and students. You can do both. Yes, you might get a little bit less sleep, or you might have to figure out how to balance everything, but you actually can pursue multiple things at one time. It's a give and take, right? But you want to feel like you have a fulfilled life. And so I began to ask myself questions around 2020 of like, what is it that you're going to do? I was pursuing music. I had created STEM music. And from a corporate standpoint, I ended up pivoting to talent acquisition, which was never on the vision board, never something I thought I would do, but it allowed me to step into a role where I got to start recruiting engineers for my company. I was an engineer. I know what that experience is like. I'm Black, Puerto Rican, and Mexican, and I have a passion for bringing more Black and brown professionals into STEM. And so getting to work with the college internship program at my company, but also working on the recruiting trail, introducing my company to diverse organizations where you find Black and brown engineers, women engineers, and getting to increase the number of that diverse group within our company is such a passion project for me. And so I'm so glad I took the risk and the pivot and listened to mentors. A lot of people will say, well, how do I do that? I don't have an HR background, so how in the world do I jump into HR? Mentorship, 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 and hard work. All throughout my engineering career, I was always volunteering with STEM outreach initiatives. Anytime I needed to volunteer at a recruiting event or supporting HR functions, just on my own time, right? And it is going above and beyond. But when that time came to go into the interviews and stuff like that, I had the experience. I had the different stories to back up why I was applying for the position. And ultimately, so now I lead the college internship program, hundreds of students that I get to connect with each and every summer, leading them and guiding them. And we give out at least 40 full-time roles from the summer internship program every summer. And so to see these students' lives transformed from being a college student to now being a professional, making a really good salary and really kind of changing their life and their trajectory is a blessing.
And what should college and high school students know about making the most of an internship?
Oh man, this is important. So when you get to become an intern, it is important that you are taking initiative. Do not be the intern who, I finished my assignment, I'm gonna sit around and twiddle my thumbs. Ask for that next assignment. Ask for that next task. Also, shadow. When you're working full time, it's very rare that you can say, hey boss, I'm gonna go shadow this department. No, they want you working for them because they're paying you and that budget is for you to do their work. So as an intern, oftentimes you have the freedom and flexibility to say, hey, I'm a design engineering intern and I'm interested in structural analysis. I'm interested in research and technology. I'm interested in marketing. Go make those connections as an intern. You will have the opportunity. Also, just network in general with your peers, because you don't know who you're sitting next to in your internship class. There's future CEOs, there's future VPs, directors, nonprofit, founders, all kinds of stuff. So connect and then also make connections with those who work at whatever companies. Even if you don't want to stay there, understand that any industry is large, but also very small. A lot of people know a lot of people. And so when you make great relationships with those who you're working for in your internship, they can oftentimes write a recommendation letter for something, for a scholarship or something like that. Or they can say, hey, I know we don't have a position for you here at our company, but I have a friend who works at this company and they have an opportunity for you. Leave a lasting impression. Go above and beyond. As interns, a lot of times when I'm working with them, there will be some who will say, well, I don't want to work here anyway, so I'm just not going to. No. The industry can be large, like I said, very small. So give a good impression, first impression, a lasting impression, and really work hard. And then lastly, have fun. Have fun. A lot of these intern programs have social events and all. Have fun. Lean into those different opportunities they give you.
What do you wish high school students knew about STEM?
Man, what I wish high school students knew about STEM, first thing is there are so many different opportunities within the STEM industry to create really cool projects, to create really cool products. And it's not limited to maybe the things that you're used to seeing on television. There are jobs that aren't even created right now that will exist in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. That there is no limit to what you can do in STEM. The foundation of a STEM degree is parallel to none. Like, it literally teaches you critical thinking, problem solving skills, and tools that you can use for life, not just for engineering. 3, that money is looking nice. I'm just saying, and it can't always be about the money, but I always tell students this. We have students who are wanting to pursue sports or entertainment as a means to make it out, specifically from Black and brown communities. I, of course, am doing music, right, with STEM, so I'm gonna encourage any student who wants to do sports or music to make it out. But I'm also always gonna say there's a whole other category of careers where you could be designing sneakers, cars, airplanes, rockets, missiles, food, right? Chemical engineers designing different types of cereal. How does the cereal melt in the milk? Like, there are so many different things in STEM that you can get into. Perfume, cologne, how you're crafting those different scents from a chemical standpoint and background. So just things that maybe you're not always thinking about that's out there and accessible to you. And then to have a nice paycheck to go with that. I mean, I'll give some numbers for students too, high school students. You could go get a bachelor's degree. So that's 4 to 6 years, depending on how long it might take for you to complete that degree in college with a STEM degree. You graduate, you don't even have a master's yet, and you're making $80,000 and above. And so it is life-changing money that, no, you're not a millionaire, but you can definitely do some things with $80,000 every single year. And so I always just try to paint that picture that, one, you get to do really cool things. You can represent for your communities. I talk about sensors in the bathroom when you have paper towels coming out, right? okay, like, does the sensor actually notice my skin versus somebody else's skin? Why is the sensor not working? These are things that when you have diverse people at the table, whether it's from a disability standpoint, whether it's from an ethnic standpoint, racial, gender, all of those different standpoints, you can actually impact the industry in such a powerful way to make sure that everybody's being seen, everyone's needs are being met, and you as the person in STEM get to be a part of that process. So these are all really amazing things that I wish every high school student would know, and that it is hard. It is challenging and it is difficult, but it's supposed to be, right? If you're going to be an engineer, a scientist, mathematician, somebody in computer science, cybersecurity, you got to make sure you're doing the right things. And so going through that degree program may be challenging, more challenging than other majors. And so I never want to lie about the rigor, how difficult it can be, but it's not impossible. If Mr. Roy could do it, getting an aerospace engineering degree and a math minor, as someone who didn't love math, as someone who was interested in science but just really loved airplanes. That was the thing. I love airplanes. I wanted to design airplanes, and having to go through all those courses, it was challenging for me. I didn't pass dynamics the first time I took it. I had to take that class again. So it's another thing I tell high schoolers and college students: be persistent and persevere. Learn how to persevere. You'll need that for life, but in school, if you don't pass a class the first time, take it again. Get some tutoring. Ask for help. Who makes the tests? The professors. So instead of jaw-jacking around with your friends, go in those office hours and connect with your professors and get some understanding as you go through your collegiate career.
And I love the example you gave about how you're really interested in airplanes and that's what you wanted to pursue. I think for a lot of students that term STEM can feel just very difficult to unpack. It can feel like this very vague term. What advice would you give to students who are maybe just intimidated by the idea of STEM because it doesn't feel clearly defined, or they're just not sure what avenues exist in STEM?
That's a great question. I think you just start where you are, start where your interests are. I love airplanes. That's just a natural thing. I was born in Germany. 3 weeks after being born, I was on an airplane back to the States. That is my theory as to why I love airplanes the way I do. And so I just wanted to do something with them. I didn't know what it was. My dad gave me the word aeronautical engineer because he was in the Army, and I was like, what is that? Oh, they design planes. Oh, this is, and I just ran with it. So whatever it is that you have an interest in, you guys have YouTube, you got, TikTok, just start searching those things, whether it's food, whether it's cosmetology, whatever it is that you have an interest in, start there and then figure out what STEM components, what science is behind this food, what science is behind this fragrance, what science is behind this makeup, what science is behind the clothes that I'm wearing, the sneakers what fabrics are they using, what's the material? Oh, I love bikes. I did BMX growing up, right? Is the bike a composite bike? Is it totally metallic, right? Find the things that you just love in general and then see where STEM and science, technology, engineering, math apply to those things. And it's not to say that everybody has to go into STEM, but I think students will be surprised at what they can find when they start with the things that they're already interested in. Oh, you love TikTok? You love YouTube? Oh, you love playing this video game? Okay, so how is that video game created? Who is writing the code for that? How would you design a video game on your own? There's already kids who are doing that, but how do you take it to the next level, right? How do you get to that professional level where you're getting to make those decisions? And so I think if students can start where they are with the things they're already interested in, it's one thing to say like, hey, get into STEM, do this thing. It's like, no. Start with what you love. Sneakers. Okay, there's soles that have to be designed. There's the shape of the shoe. It may look really cool in a design, but functionally, does it work? Is the tongue of the shoe cutting into the foot every time you take a step? Okay, well then we got to design it better. We have to do something different. Even though it looks cooler this way, it's got to be designed functionally this way. Like those are intriguing things that I think, I'm a sneakerhead. So for me, that's like, ooh, I want to know about that. Or how does that happen? What's the process of making a shoe? Oh, you got to start with the mold. Where do molds come from? Who supplies those? What kind of a mold do you want to use? So I think just asking those questions around things that you're already interested in and seeing what STEM is applied to that. And then from there saying, yeah, I actually want to be an engineer who designs sneakers. Or yeah, I want to be a scientist around food science and see how we can eat better foods for our bodies so that we're not struggling with diabetes. We're not struggling with these different diseases. How can I improve upon that, right? And health in general, right? There's a whole field of that of like, a lot of times
Another thing I would tell students is if you have a family member who's going through a health crisis, that's a great way to look into something like, man, I don't want anybody else to have to go through this experience. And although you may not be able to change that in your lifetime, could you be a part of the scientists who can move the ball forward, right? And so those are great ways to kind of connect to STEM, because STEM isn't everything that we do, everything that we use in our day-to-day lives. We just have to kind of uncover it, you know?
Oh, that's amazing. So these last 3 questions we've been asking everyone. So first, can you tell us your best college experience?
Best college experience. I have a lot of those. I will pick. Man, okay, can I do 3? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so from the engineering standpoint, best college experience, senior design. We designed, built, and flew a RC aircraft. Her name was Bad Bama Jamma, named after the song Bad Bama Jamma by Carl Carlton. And then, yes, that was my fault, because I was like, she a Bad Bama Jamma, like, she's nice. She had a 6-foot wingspan. I was the stability and controls lead, and so I designed how long the wings would be, the horizontal stabilizer, the vertical stabilizer, and we took our plane down to Tucson, Arizona, and competed against 80 teams from around the world, and we placed 15th in the nation, and it was an amazing experience. It was hard. We suffered a crash, so we had to rebuild, and we had a certain university that was like kind of clowning us and stuff. We came back the next day. We competed again in some of the same areas we had already competed to better our scores, and we beat them. We got 15th, they got 17th, and so we were just like, let's go. It was just the culmination of everything I was studying in aerospace engineering. To apply it, to see it come to fruition was amazing. The others will be on like the musical front. One is homecoming. I won homecoming king at my university, Wichita State. Go Shockers! And that was just a fun week. It was great. But singing national anthems for the Shocker basketball team, and at the time they were on a run and they went to the Final Four, and so that was an amazing time. So performing, and then also the aerospace side of things.
Oh, wow. All right. Can you tell us what advice you would give yourself as a high school student? It could be around college and career, or it could be around anything.
Man, I would tell myself as a high school student, y'all trying to make me cry. I would tell myself to keep going, keep dreaming, that so many of the dreams that you have, Roy, are going to come true. To love yourself in spite of what anybody else might be saying about you, or what insecurities you may be having within yourself. To truly love yourself, and just to keep being you, because you're a really cool person. And as you grow older, keep being intentional, keep being kind, keep that integrity, because it will take you far.
Wow. All right. And our final question, what is one thing that you are taking away from South by Southwest EDU? Something exciting, cool, interesting, unexpected?
Yes, something I'm taking away from South by Southwest EDU is all of the connections I've been able to make. I've been so inspired by keynote speakers, by fellow STEMites, people who are in the STEM field from the different panels that I've gotten to attend. And then just connecting with fellow children's music artists and getting to be inspired and talk about music and plans and different things we want to do in the future. So the connection here and the networking has been both inspiring, uplifting, and just makes me want to do so much more and continue on this journey with STEM music.
Oh, thank you so much. This was such a great, positive, upbeat way to end the day. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.